Oh, yeah. Welcome in. It is Nuke the Props, the profitable Nuke the Props show. Through the first 3 weeks, we'll see if we can keep it up. Mr. Tyler, we got a lot of fun stuff to discuss today. We got a Thursday night football game we'll cover last because those of you that are watching on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to want some plays there too, and hopefully the needle doesn't move too much. But Tyler, we got about 3 weeks of data now. So we could start looking at how guys are being used and not being used. We always have to adjust for the injuries, of course, and the matchup as well. But, you know, there's guys that start and come out the woodwork. A couple of weeks ago, I thought it was Troy Franklin. I might be back on him this week. This week, Torrey Horton's a guy I want to talk about with you. But let's look at this slate, pal. And we're going to go right back to a guy that you loved week one and laddered. And I think now is the time that we might want to consider laddering the guy. And he plays for the Green Bay Packers. And before you break it down, I just want to say that there's a massive depletion of wide receivers in Green Bay. There's a guy that played his most snaps of the year, starting to jack it up. There's 3 straight weeks or 2 straight weeks after week one where snaps are going up. He's an explosive player. And I love the guy you're going to give to us first.
Yeah, that's going to be Matthew Golden. I mean, we'll go back to it. We tried week one. He really didn't get the targets. He started to get the targets last week. He should have scored a 96-yard touchdown. He walked himself out of bounds. Everyone says, oh, maybe he was off balance. You're a professional athlete. You took 4 steps in bounds. You could have caught your balance and ran down the sideline. I think it was more so they thought the game was over, and they were kind of in prevent mode, even on offense, and they thought that first down would be enough, and they could just chew clock from there. In the end, they ended up losing the game, so probably should have put that touchdown on the board. Now he returns.
Oh, my God. He just steps out of bounds, dude.
Yeah, he just walks himself right out of bounds.
Oh.
And you even see their sideline. Like, there was a couple players that went like, oh, what are you doing? Like, but no one out, like the coaches, no one reacted bad to that. It was almost like that was what they wanted. So I think that they didn't want to score. They thought the game was over. Now they go back to Texas where he played his college ball at. He's playing Dallas, whose corners can't cover anyone. I think he's going to get open down the field. I think he might hit his prop in 1 catch because at 38.5, which I got, it's up to 40.5. I'd still bet the 40.5. You could see Love air one out, him beat Diggs down the sideline or the opposite corner because Bland's still out, and he could just be wide open. He leads in those analytic, what's it, most air yard attempts and all that fun stuff, all those weird stats. But eventually, he's going to catch one of those. He had his chance last week to walk himself down the sideline. He goes out of bounds. 2 weeks ago, he's missed in the end zone, and another one was outside of his fingertips. I think it all comes home this week.
So that's interesting. And again, I think when you and I were talking earlier in the week, you just completely sold me on him in a minute. Got him in at 36.5 to the over, -114. And I'm going to ride with you. I think 40.5's in play. What do you think about a ladder for Matthew Golden?
Yeah, definitely for the latter. I was looking to see because FanDuel doesn't have his numbers up yet. I was getting over to DraftKings to see what we have on his 100+ because I just think we go all the way to the top with this. I think this is just the breakout game for him, and this is going to be the big spot back in Texas. So what do we get on that?
Oh, there's more Narrative Street. That's right. He's back in Texas, like you were saying. Okay, Narrative Street works.
You're getting almost 10-1 on that 100 yards. I will definitely sprinkle on that. I think this is the week finally.
10-1 on 100 yards? How's that?
I'll probably even bet the touchdown because I think the best odds I seen was around +230 on that. I think he finds the end zone too. Wow, I'm all in on this guy Holden.
100 yards is 10-1 for a guy.
Fantasy leagues, I picked him up off the waiver wire. He's in my flex this week. I am all in on this guy.
Oh, you're gonna make me bet this. You're gonna make me ladder Golden. You're not making me do anything, but you sold me enough to where I was on it already, and now I'm absolutely going up. Razor Sharp, good to see you. Hey guys, girls, drop your best bet in the chat. If you got any props you're on, Matthew Golden over 40.5 will be the official number. Again, it moved up about 4 yards since we were talking about it earlier in the week, but Tyler says it's still good, and we're thinking about a ladder there. Okay, my first pick. Again, we'll get to the Thursday night games a little bit. So I'm going back to our guy, Odunze. And we both loved this play last week against Dallas. And I absolutely love this play this week against the Raiders because let's face it, to me, the Raiders are almost as bad as the Cowboys in coverage. Now, the Cowboys the Raiders cornerbacks actually got some love from Pete Carroll, but the numbers do not back up why they gave him the love. They give up the 30th most receiving yards to wide receivers through 3 weeks. Okay. And it's interesting. You were talking about those advanced stats. A guy I'm going to talk about for my next bet after this one is Ricky Pearsall. Pearsall and Odunze lead the second-year wide receivers in first downs per route run. I don't think I have to sell people on this, so I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole, but he's their number one wide receiver. Caleb Williams loves this guy. Caleb Williams is going to be throwing, and I love picking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I got in at 59.5. I think this is still good at 61.5. Maybe we should do like a little 5-minute Wednesday night show because we're betting a lot of these props right when they drop, right? But I tell you right now, Rome's in for another nice day. He might have a bigger day in the end last week. DJ Moore is just taking the back seat as the number 2 at this point, and their most explosive weapon is Rome Odunze. And don't forget, Swift might be banged up. I know everybody likes Mononga even in the backfield. They might have to throw a little bit more. Rome Odunze, official play over 61.5 right now on DraftKings.
I'm in with you. I mean, we just keep betting us until it doesn't pay us out. I mean, we've been on it, 2 weeks in a row. He's paid us out both times.
Didn't move.
Yeah, and the number hasn't moved. So what's the worst that can happen? It bites us and we lose some of that money we made already betting him twice. So I just think we just keep going back in.
I think we're going to be on him a lot, Tyler. I think we're going to be on him a lot because if they're not moving the line already, he'll be over 70 before you know it. So
he'll be over 70. So we just keep betting it. I like that spot, and I think that the Raiders are going to have success on the ground on the other side, which could coincide with Chicago having to throw the ball even more. They could be down in this game. I like the Rome call, so I'll be on Rome.
All right, let's move on. Play number 2, my friend.
Yeah, we'll just go early morning Saturday. We're going to bet against the Steelers here, and we're going to bet an Aaron Rodgers interception at plus 106. Did you see some of those defensive schemes that Minnesota was running against Jake Browning last week, Holden?
Yeah.
They would show one coverage, and then they would flip it, and then they're in an all-out blitz package, and then they're back in cover 3, then half the field's open, and then they're in quarters, then the ball gets snapped, and then they're in a completely different play. Jake Browning was just in hell last week. He had no shot. Rodgers has struggled overseas in these games, and I think that they're going to put pressure on him, and he's going to throw an interception in this game. I think Minnesota's going to be able to control it. Flores was a part of the Steelers organization in the last couple of years. Mike Tomlin doesn't change a damn thing. Everything's still the same. He knows it, and he's going to know what this offense wants to do. So I think he gets maybe Rodgers for 2 picks in this game. But getting plus money on the 1, I'll take that.
Pre-flop plus money Aaron Rodgers interception. It's just not the same.
A lot more in the last. It sounded really bad like 3 years ago when he never threw any, but then he started to throw a bunch. Did you see the one he threw last week against the Patriots? He threw it right to him.
He's shown some moments where he can get the ball downfield and he doesn't look like he had the Achilles injury. We're 2 years post Achilles, but he also isn't making the same decisions that he was making in the past. Going to the chat real quick. Mr. Bubbles is on. Mr. Bubbles, over 210 passing yards for Drake May. Mr. Bubbles, your other one, I swear to God I had this in the queue because my buddy Mitch, he does a whole bunch of parlay stuff and throws kicker stuff in there. And he's like, both kickers in the Thursday night game have gone over 6 kicking points in each of the first 3 games and going back last year. So I was almost there with you on that Thursday night kicker parlay. I'm not pulling the trigger, but I like where your head's at. And then we got Razor again for tonight's Seattle money line under 43.5. Both kickers over 1.5 field. We got some kicker props in here today. What's going on, Tyler?
Kicker props aren't a bad way to go. Longest field goal was probably a good edge for a while, Holden, because guys just walk in 50 to 60 yarders now. You know they're probably hanging those at like 47.5.
Yeah, they need to move those goalposts in. Okay, let's go to Ricky Pearsall. I don't care if Mac Jones is starting or it's Brock Purdy this week. No team has been more favorable to slot receivers than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually see this being a competitive game too. So Ricky Pearsall, even if Jawan Jennings is out, I like this play. Highest yards per route run from the slot at 3.47. Most team air yards. He's got almost 50% of the team's air yards. That is insane. 49.6%. Now that could change. That's probably going to change when Kittle comes back. But for now, I think Kittle affects our guy Pearsall more than any wide receiver does. So I'll give you another stat. You're going to hate this. Unrealized air yards, 142, which means he's getting targeted really, really deep. So we like that, especially out of the slot. Like, how many guys out of the slot are running just deep routes? Not too often. Third and routes run per route at 2.38. I do like his longest reception too, but at 66.5 minus 118 on MGM. And as we tape this live, that's the only book that's hanging a number on him. I think this thing is going to get bet up. I'd be shocked if it went down below it. So MGM, as of this taping, right now is the only place to hang a Ricky Pearsall. And you know what just happened? It just went to 67.5. So we'll make that the official number since that's all you can get. We'll go 67.5, Ricky Pearsall, over receiving yards, minus 18 at MGM.
I think this is an easy bet. The only thing that worried me was he didn't practice. Was it
He's
Tuesday?
fine.
But
He
ended up practicing yesterday, so that was fine.
He talked about it. He said his knee's a little bit sore.
Literally the only question you have to ask yourself when you're betting 49er props right now, do they get 250 total yards on offense?
Yeah.
Then the props go over. Because listen to this. Snaps, routes run, targets from last week. Pearsall ran 63 snaps, 43 routes run, 11 targets. The next closest receiver was Kendrick Bourne at 47 snaps, 35 routes ran, only 5 targets. Then combined for 2 targets with Sky Moore and Valdez-Scantling. There is no other wide receivers that get the ball. Even the tight ends. Jake Tungus had 3 targets on 29 routes ran. Not another tight end was targeted. Pearsall is literally the only guy that isn't a running back. Because then you come to the running backs, and CMC ran 38 routes. He took 14 targets. So there's the rest of the offense, and he took 17 carries. Robinson didn't get a target. He had 2 carries, and Juszczyk got 1 target. This offense is all CMC and Pearsall. So if you tell yourself they're getting 250 yards, they're probably both going over their props. Pearsall also isn't going to rush for yards. So you don't have to play that game with taking his rushing or receiving. I like the Pearsall call. We just keep betting it until they get healthy.
I'm with you. That's it. Okay. Any more for Sunday, or we move on to Thursday night?
No, nothing more for Sunday, but I did check back. And just to note, Rodgers played overseas last year in London. He just so happened to play Brian Flores' defense in the Minnesota Vikings. He threw 3 interceptions in that game.
All right, with the A-Rod interceptions. You're just trying to cherry pick off of my interceptions. No,
Yep, I got to join the interception train.
I like the call a lot more than anything because this is a plus money. You rarely get quarterbacks that you think are going to throw a pick at plus money. Give me a Thursday night bet. What do you got tonight? Seahawks and the Cardinals in Phoenix.
Yeah, I think just going to roll with Kyler's rushing prop. It's paid out 3 weeks in a row. They won't put it into the 30s, and James Conner's leg turned backwards last week, so they won't have a running game, really. I don't believe in Benson through the backfield. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball. Maybe he's catches a couple passes out of the backfield. I've seen everyone betting his over 2.5 receptions. But Kyler's rushing prop still sits. It's even 29.5 on FanDuel right now. You probably shop that number and find better. I just think he has to move the ball on the ground with his feet. And at that number, this offense is going to be him. It's going to be Trey McBride. And that's probably it. Maybe some Greg Dortch, but I think he's going to have to use his legs. And at 29.5, I feel like that's still too low.
Okay, here's my plays for tonight. And I already went deep into these on the YouTube short. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now they jacked his number up to 81.5. And I'll have to check where it is now because I bet this when it dropped on Monday. It might have actually been up there on Sunday. But Smith and Jigba is the unquestioned number 1. Wow, this is up to 84.5. Nope, you can find a 79.5 minus 140. So maybe you can find the right number at MGM. Everywhere else has 84.5. Wow, 3 yards kind of is a lot when we're talking about 80 yards. But this is something I gave out earlier in the week. over 81.5 yards. But here's the other one that I like about him is he has gone over 40 yards with his longest reception in 3 straight games, all 3. By the way, they just reposted at MGM 80.5 minus 135.
What do you think about him to lead this game in receiving yards at minus 105?
I mean, that's not a big number, but
Yeah.
it should be there. Who else is going to catch him? McBride?
I think that's the only guy that can catch him unless Marvin Harrison somehow puts together a game finally.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what I got already. I'm gonna go with him there. The number that really hasn't moved is his longest reception. So again, he's made a 40-yard catch in each of the first 3 games. I don't see why that wouldn't happen again tonight. This is one of the most explosive players in the league. This is a guy that is constantly getting targeted downfield farther than anybody else. So Jackson Smith and Jigba over 25.5. Longest reception. Best number you'll get is at FanDuel, minus 108. God, 81. I can't give out his yards again. I gave out his yards already earlier in the week. So if you got on that, great. I'm not going to give out his actual receiving number, but the 25.5 is still there. What else you got for tonight?
The only other thing I was looking at was maybe getting on a Charbonnet touchdown, just because they seem to split this backfield a lot. And I would just take a chance. I mean, you can get Walker at even money, but you can get Charbonnet at 2-1. It's not a bad shot on a running back who they split carries the last time he was in there. Wasn't in there last week, and Walker got all the work. But
didn't Walker get a shit ton of work too, and they're on a short week?
Yeah, they're on a short week. I think Charbonnet worked right back in, so I'll take a shot on Charbonnet touchdown. What's his first touchdown also? 10-1.
I don't know. It's probably pretty far up there, and that's not a bad bet. One other guy I want to talk about, and I already bet this, but I'm going to have to, in order to really give it out, I'll just say this: do your own homework on this. Troy Horton over 22.5 receiving yards tonight. So they have tried to find a new X receiver for DK Metcalf. I think they found the guy, and we've seen him for 3 weeks now. He only has 8 targets. This dude is so explosive, though. They're talking about getting him more work in the receiving game, in the passing game. So do your own homework on this, but Torrey Horton over 22.5 is going to be my other play for tonight. I would say, again, do your own homework because it's a little bit of a risky play. Anything else for tonight?
What is Kyler's interception odds? About minus 110. That's not bad. I mean, maybe wait, bet it live. Their injury report is bad. Looking at it now. Makes me like the JSN prop even more that Will Johnson's doubtful with a groin injury. He's probably not going to be there. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of his 5 offensive linemen are all questionable with big injuries. 3 of them knee injuries and the other one an ankle. Imagine all 4 of those guys miss and they're running 4 second-string guys on the offensive line for him. Yeah, it's going to be a bad one for Arizona tonight, I think.
Okay, so give me one best bet, your favorite bet of the week.
Favorite bet of the week?
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with the Rodgers interception. You'll be eating breakfast Saturday morning and you'll wake up and you'll go, oh, he threw it to a purple jersey. That's money in my pocket.
Love it, buddy. I absolutely love it. And my best bet then, I'll flip a coin between Odunze and Ricky Pearsall. Those are my 2 favorite this week. I think JSN tonight has a big night too. We'll see if Horton can get there. And then as far as the interception props, I haven't bet them yet. Browning's popping. Flacco's popping for a 3rd straight week. He's paid us out 2 weeks in a row. And then I think you and I were discussing Jackson Dart and Scatabo, but as of this point, you and I have not come up on a collective decision, so I'm not going to give anything out.
Yeah. One other thing for this Thursday game, Holden. Mr. Bubbles in the chat talked about it. Darnold's passing yards. Arizona allows the 2nd most passing yards this season. Arizona's kind of stingy versus the run, too. I know we talked about Charbonnet's touchdown, but that can come with the goal line. We've seen Sam Darnold throw for 3+ touchdowns in games last year in that Minnesota offense. This is a bad defense, and he might put a lot through the air. 3+ touchdowns is 6-1 in this game. What if JSN just nukes him? Catches 2, and then Horton goes in for 1? I don't hate that.
No, I don't hate it either. We're getting a lot of DeMercado guys. Mr. Bubbles likes him. Stenberg, there's an auto fade right there. So maybe DeMercado under 1 rushing yard. No, in all seriousness, DeMercado is going to get some work. I know he only had a couple carries in relief of Connor, who went down. So basically he was the backup behind Benson. But, Yeah, I don't mind the DeMercado either. And Game Day Guru, thanks. Appreciate it, man. We always appreciate that. Our prices are going up to $100 a month in a few days, October 1st. So I'll throw this up here one more time for you. If you are not a subscriber and you want to get in at an extraordinarily discounted price for just a monthly plan, I recommend you do it now. 40% off. We're not doing all packages anymore. We're just doing the monthly package, NFL 40. You get 40% off that payment. So you tell me what that is, like 40 something dollars, when everybody else can be paying 100. If you're not one of the OGs here with Nuke the House, if you're not already in on a monthly, annual, or weekly plan. Great stuff there, Tyler. We'll try and have another winning week. I'm excited about what's going on. I'll throw it up here once again. NFL 40 is the code if you want to get in before the pricing goes up as of October 1st. We're going to go nuke this slate again. We will be live for Thursday Night Football. Seahawks at the Cardinals tonight, 8:10 Eastern time, and we're going to nuke these bets.